All right, if we can go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Recognition of visitors. We didn't have anyone sign up to speak, so we will go ahead and start with our student recognition. Okay, Mr. Streeter's jumping up first.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to read the pride card and the teacher, and then I'm going to ask the student to come up. I'm going to give you a certificate, and you can go around and shake all the board members' hands. Our first is Audrina Charnetsky from Mrs. Klingensmith. Thank you for laying quietly during rest times. Leah Adkins and Mrs. Sullivan. Leah was not feeling well but still came to school. Leah missed centers, but when she came to school, she asked if she could do her work. I'm proud of Leah for coming to school and even more proud of her for asking to finish her work. Awesome job. That's from Mrs. Sullivan. Leah here. Jace Brock in Mrs. Lang's class. Jace used great manners and set a good example for his classmates when getting ready to go home. Way to go, Jace. I know Jace is here.
All right.
Our next pride card winner is Sophia Wood in Mrs. Bain's class. Sophia is a hard worker and can be counted on to listen and follow directions daily. Thank you, Sophia. Our next pride card winner is Jocelyn Peterson, and this is from Mrs. Stefik. Jocelyn is always respectful and kind to others. She's such a pleasure to have in 4th grade. Way to go. And our final elementary pride card winner is Eleanor Hughes in Mr. Hamilton's class. Ellie works extremely well with others. She is always has a positive attitude and is a pleasure to have in class. She is a model of a great student. So congratulations to Eleanor as well.
Okay, Mr. Walker.
Okay, our 6th grade pride card recipient or winner was Amanda Walker. I don't think she's here. From Mr. Mendenhall, the choir director. Amanda always takes pride in our choir program. Each day Amanda takes time to help clean our choir room. Great job, Amanda. And then in 7th grade from Mrs. Barkhurst, this is Josh Mohan. Josh is not here. Okay. This says Josh is a good and responsible student. He participates well in class. Also today he came to my room during my conference period to get the work he was going to miss in the afternoon because he was leaving early. So shows some proactive work on Josh's part. And then finally from Mr. Flanagan, an 8th grade student actually, Brianna Mann. Brianna helped put up the classroom chairs without being asked at the end of the day. So come on up.
I'm so excited because we have high
Yay.
Kayla Hughes, that's great. From Mrs. Allen, congrats on your A+ on your test and your A+ on your math quiz. Fantastic job. Next we have Trevor Wise from Mrs. Hollendonner. Thank you for helping Pep Club with the football signs, scorecards for the homecoming game. It was so kind of you. And thanks for learning Jenna Bennett in the 11th grade. Jenna is such a huge help in the main office. Her personality is contagious. Jenna's not here. And then the last one is Jacob Thompson. This is from Mrs. Atkins. Thank you for coming to band class on a day where other seniors chose not to come.
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate all you students making the exceptional effort, and we appreciate the families coming out and supporting them and giving them their recognition too. It means a lot to us to have those kind of students that show good citizenship and go above and beyond, and we're really happy and proud of their success and their recognition. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead with the meeting. If you are interested and want to stay, that's great, and if you need to leave, that's understandable too. So we appreciate all you people showing up.
He's out of here.
Thank you.
He's got brush.
All right, we can go ahead and proceed with roll call.
Pusateri? Here. Whittlesey?
Here.
Fletcher?
Here.
Gump?
Here.
Brock?
Here.
All right. President's report. Just a couple things. Of course, we were down at the OSBA Capital Conference for 3 days. It's always an exceptional opportunity to meet with our peers and other school districts. It was no less impressive this year. We had the opportunity to sit in on some great seminars, lessons, and to give some recognition to those throughout the state of Ohio. We always enjoy our time, but more importantly, it was a great opportunity just to be with each other as board members and with Sean, our superintendent, and to really relax and get to know each other and really focus on what we can do to make the district better. Also want to take a moment to say thank you for those that took the opportunity to vote in the election on November 3rd. And we do appreciate that. It's great. It's a great opportunity to voice your opinion on the local issues, as well as the district and operations. So for that, I want to thank the community, and we can move on to superintendent's report. Sean?
Okay, one thing I don't have written down here, I just wanted to say congratulations to all 3 buildings. We were not here for Veterans Day, but I hear that it was a great day, and I've gotten a lot of thank yous and emails just saying, hey, we appreciate the teachers and the kids and you guys taking time to do that, so we appreciate that. And we appreciate certainly our veterans as well. The other things that I have here, Tiana Van Dyne donated numerous pieces of archery equipment to the archery program. It's a program that's really growing. She donated backdrops, targets, bow stands. Her sons were graduates of Waterloo, and she wanted to donate some of their things back to the school. And Whitetails Unlimited made a donation of $3,416 to Waterloo for the archery program too. But that was worth mentioning.
Good.
And that's it.
Thank you. Treasurer's report.
Nothing for tonight.
All right. We can move on to the high school principals update. Ms. Sandell.
Just going to go over a few quick, exciting things that have happened since the last time we were here. This was kind of fun. It was something we just did with the staff, and I think you got it in my last update, but our chili cook-off. We had a chili cook-off with the staff. We had 5 people bring crock pots full of chili, and then all the teachers got to eat them and taste them and win. It was not me that won. I have to publicly say it was Karen Schultz who won. But maybe I'll win the next. We're planning something else next. So that was fun. The kids wanted to know where the chili was for lunch because they could smell it.
Could we have the next one on board night? That would work.
Oh, we could do that.
Someone will pass on it. The names we mentioned, of course.
An interesting opportunity was brought to actually Mr. Brayman and I. Rootstown last year did not have a drama club advisor, and someone approached them. He was actually a graduate there. It has his own production company and offered to produce a movie. So they produced a movie last year, and they were able to get it to play at the Kent Plaza. So they actually had a premiere, a red carpet event, the whole thing. They had to have 2 showings because they sold seats. They sold out the first showing, so they had to have a second showing. Well, this year the producer wants to continue the movie and have a sequel, and he wants to include Waterloo. So he approached both of us. It's a little, I'm not a zombie person, it's a zombie movie, so it ought to be interesting. The kids were kind of excited to think that Mr. Brayman and I might be zombies that get killed off in the movie. So
Yeah.
he started just last week. They did auditions. There were probably 50 to 60 kids that showed interest in being a part of this movie, so that was really exciting. Our opening premiere looks like it may be December 22nd, so this is going to go really quickly from start to finish. But I'll update you as it goes on. But if you hear anything about zombies at the high school, that's what's going on. I brought some flyers for you. You can take one. The high school girls basketball is doing a clothing drive. Your Viking den might be used up this evening if you need to meet in there. You have an alternate location because we've got bags and bags of clothing donated. They actually get a percentage based on the weight of the amount of clothing that is donated. So that's going on right now through the 21st. We've had quite a few people donating clothing. And I also just wanted to touch base on the Beta Club. We had an induction shortly after our last meeting. We currently had 23 students in Beta Club, and we just inducted 24 new members. So I thought that was really wonderful to have that many students involved in that organization. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Walker?
I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. I just have a few things. Like we said, our Veterans Day program was a big success, and I have to give a lot of credit to the teachers and custodians, secretary. I mean, there were so many people that did their individual part. We even had one teacher who was probably too sick to be at work yesterday, and yet she argued with me to stay here because she wanted to get her stuff finished up. And so we appreciate the dedication of our teachers. Our students, each student made a Veterans Day card, like a card of appreciation, and then we presented those cards to the veterans that were in attendance at our program yesterday. And it seemed to mean a lot to both the veterans and the students. We had kind of a receiving line, and we actually got to the buses a little later than we should have, but it was for a good cause. As far as discipline issues go, we've had a few suspensions and things like that, but really things seem to be calm, and you know, there's a handful of students who have been struggling with some behaviors, but other than that, I think things are going as well as they should be. I continue to hear positive comments back from parents as far as, you know, I'll get emails or in phone calls, I'll hear good things about our teachers and our staff, so I appreciate that. And then finally, really, kind of what the middle school is really focusing on the last several weeks, and will continue to focus on into the end of December, or the beginning of December, is we're trying to get our intervention period set up in the middle of the day. I might have talked to you about this last time, but we're trying to get our intervention period set up so we're really targeting the lowest 20% of students who are struggling academically, and that ties in with our Title I services that we also offer, and just trying to find a way to streamline all of that and really utilize our Title I teachers as best as we can for the hours that they're here. And all of that is kind of a big jigsaw puzzle that will fit together, but as soon as you move one thing, other things start moving. So we're continuing to work on that, and we're making a lot of progress. So that's kind of all that's going on right now for the middle school.
Very good.
Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Streeter?
Good evening again. Just a few things. Our Halloween festivities were fun and exciting for the students. We had something on Friday. We had a parade where the kids get to parade around the entire district. And then Saturday, the PTO did something really cool. They did a trunk or treat in the parking lot. We have a couple new parents this year on PTO that are doing really interesting things and fun things for the kids. One of the things was principal for a day. So parents were able to bid and put their kids' name in the hat for a principal for the day. So I have somebody taking my job tomorrow. A young man, I think he's in 2nd grade, so we'll see if he can run me out of town. So that, I thought that was a cool opportunity for the kids. Veterans Day, like Mr. Walker touched on, it was a huge success. We had a great showing of veterans, and I think the kids all enjoyed hearing from them. We have a gentleman that's a World War II veteran that speaks and has a lot of cool things to say and a great message for the kids, so that was cool. We've already started our preparation for Hanging of the Green, so that's kind of the next student-centered event where teachers pick a student to present them with the wreath, which is a Waterloo tradition that I really enjoy. And then finally, just something we're working on. I know Mr. Walker talked a little bit about discipline. We're experiencing an excellent year as far as discipline is going in the elementary. Very positive climate and culture, and the teachers have really taken off with this whole Viking Bucks and PBIS, positive behavior system that we're doing. So we've even started doing a little more with the morning announcements, where teachers will send in shout outs every day. So it's kind of like what we do with pride cards, but on a daily basis, where teachers can, they'll shoot me an email where they want to hear the kids, or the kids in their classroom will get to hear their name on the announcements, which is cool. And then we had a teacher actually send in a couple of students this morning to read their poetry from 4th grade on the announcements. So it's really pushing a positive culture, as well as, pushing our academics and making kids a lot more proud of what they're doing in class, because they get to share it with the entire building. So yeah, I think we have a very positive year going here, and I'm very happy to say so. That's all I have for this evening.
What about your addition? Aren't you going to tell us?
Yeah.
Jeez, oh man! What are we going to do with him?
I have a 2-week-old son, Theodore, also known as Teddy.
Very good. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Everyone keeps asking me about my sleep, and it's good.
So far.
Depending on yeah, exactly, so far. Depending on the day, and if I want people to feel sympathy for me.
There you go.
I only got 20 minutes last night.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone's healthy and doing great.
Wonderful.
Big sis likes them too, so.
That helps. Yeah.
It doesn't last long.
Well, thank you to our building principals. It's always nice to hear from them and what they do, and to give a frontline review of how our days in school are going. That's such a positive thing. They are both. We have a fantastic principal and staff, teaching staff, and for the community, the parents, any opportunity you have to interact and just to communicate with them is going to be a positive. We really appreciate the effort that they put into to their professions, and it's good to hear that we have such positive programming going on, and the behaviors are good, and we have good citizens, and we want to recognize that. And a lot of that comes from the principals and our teaching staff, and we do appreciate all the effort that they put into that. It's no small effort by any means. So we'll move on to Maplewood.
Okay, our meeting was cut short last month because it was on the day that they hosted the all boards dinner. And all of us attended the dinner, and it was put on by culinary arts students. They always do a fantastic job with their meal, and not only the culinary arts, but the security is also, criminal justice department does the security. A lot of different programs participate in the evening. And the speaker we had was a sheriff, I believe, from Portage County that spoke about ALICE to a lot of people that are not aware of what the ALICE program is. So all in all, it was a fantastic night. We had a good time. Food was excellent.
Yeah.
So it's always good.
Very nice. Good food's always great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did a fine job, and that's really about it. That's all I
Thank you.
have. Thank you.
Maplewood always goes above and beyond with presentation, and it's with the students really, highlighting this. And that's always a great evening for all the Portage County boards. And it's great to see the students out there, not only the culinary students, but the security, and it really gives them an opportunity to put what they learn into practice. So we do appreciate the efforts that Maplewood goes to put that program on every year. Legislative update.
Okay, I got a couple things. You might be able to chime in on one of them since you went to the thing. Senator Cliff Hyde, he's a Republican from Findlay, has announced a series of formats to discuss the participate to play and on other sports and just the activities. He's publicly expressed concerns over these fees because they prohibit students from participating. School district leaders are strongly encouraged to attend the forum scheduled in their local area. We have Mr. Brayman, who will be attending on November 19th, which I think this is a strong thing for our school because if we have kids, even though we as a district offer other avenues for students still to be able to play, it's still an issue that most schools struggle with this participate to play. And then the Youngstown plan update, the Senate Bill 230 and House Bill 379 seek to ensure greater transparency and accountability for distress improvement plans. The proposal would strip the CEO power and delay others. The legislation would eliminate the eventual possibility of mayoral control, and well as the CEO's ability to change the union contracts. Did you get? Because you went to that.
Yeah, it was on the Youngstown plan. It was a seminar, kind of one-sided, so to speak, from OSBA and from the Youngstown board, and that's understandable. What they're going through is what we feel or OSBA feels is detrimental to the school board, as well as to the students. They're under academic distress. They're having a number of issues, and what happened is it got to the point where the state came in and essentially initiated this plan to take them over, but they're bringing in people we're not really for sure who the people are yet that they don't necessarily have to be education professionals. So there's a lot of apprehension.
And I know the problem was they came in without announcement. They came in without
It was
warning,
quick. If you followed the legislative updates, and Vicki took over this year, and I've had it previously, it's always frustrating when you see the time involved with the legislative process and how it goes to committee, and you think that's such a common sense objective, and it comes out of committee, and by the time it goes through the process, it can be very frustrating, and then the end result is oftentimes, nothing that mirrors what was in the committee that you agreed with in the initial process. So to have that all done in basically what was an hour is somewhat skeptical. And, you know, it's one of those things where we have a responsibility as a school district. We have a responsibility to our kids. We have a responsibility to our fiscal, to stay fiscally responsible. When so many things fall apart, that an outside entity comes in, you're in bad situation. So it is regrettable that it's happening. It's not a good situation, and it makes us appreciate the kind of community and support and the administration that we have from the leadership on this board and from our administrators and staff, that hopefully that will be forever not a possibility here. So we do empathize with Youngstown, and we will wait to see what kind of process comes from the legislative end of things and what their takeover means to Youngstown City Schools.
I'm excited to know too that they're going to be implementing evaluations for school counselors. I think that's a big issue. I hope next month we have a little more info. Can't wait for that.
Yep, we're all accountable, even us at the ballot, so. Thank you, appreciate it. New business.
Yeah, I have nothing unusual here. I have coaches and advisors that are.
Wait, not yet.
Did I jump ahead of someone?
Yep. It's all right.
Who are you?
It's me. I was
Oh,
gonna say
sorry.
something, but that's okay. I don't have to.
Where is this?
We're on new business still.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say that I went to the veterans, the one in the high school, and it was good as always, but it was funny because some of the kids were saying, "Oh, I messed up the song," or "I messed up the song," and I was thinking it was really good. So they worry about that kind of stuff, but the food was fantastic, and I didn't realize. I don't know if this is the first year that they've done it, but Bob Evans Restaurants donates the biscuits and the sausage gravy, and I didn't realize that. If they've done it before, that's great. But I just thought that was wonderful that they donate that, because that's really nice to do for the veterans. You hear of all these other restaurants giving free food to veterans for that day or doing whatever, and I thought that was really, really nice, and I just think it was a really nice program as always, but and the ones that attended, we're very thankful that they were there. So
That is always a tremendous program with the schools. I mean, we have such a respect for the veterans, and give them the opportunity to come in and not only be recognized, but the opportunity for those kids to kind of get a feel for their parents, grandparents, and so on, the veterans' contributions to the things that we sometimes take for granted, those freedoms that we take for granted that they've paid such a price for. And we appreciate all our veterans, and that program is fantastic. I think across the state, That's one of the highlights of the year, is the different veteran programs in the schools. So we're happy that it went off well, and we appreciate all those that helped put together such a good program.
And then the only other thing I had was, I know I gathered some really good information at Capitol Conference in my sessions, and I know Vicki got some, several of us did. So I didn't know if we could put together some time where we could sit down, talk about that, so that everybody, because we all sort of try and go to individual ones. We kind of sat there trying to figure out, okay, you're going to this one, you're going to that one, you're going to that one, so that we can gather the most information. So I didn't know if we could have a time where we could do that. We can set something up,
Yeah, sure.
maybe, so.
Good idea.
That was it.
Anything else? Because Sean's biting at the bit to get going
Mine,
here.
yeah.
Sorry.
Very
Okay,
good.
and I really don't have much. I have advisors and coaches to be approved for basketball, track, and for yearbook and drama, and also for volunteers. Also the same with substitutes for non-certified and certified subs. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you. Treasurer's business?
Not much tonight either. Pretty much standard information there. We do have our new allocations for fiscal year 16 out of federal grants and state grants, along with the carryovers from last fiscal year. And then there's approving a transfer from last year's Title 2A grant to this year's Title 2A. So these are usually done once a year. Any questions?
No? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second? Roll call?
Pusateri?
Yes.
Whittlesey?
Yes.
Fletcher?
Yes.
Gump?
Yes.
Brock?
Yes.
And as we have no executive committee meeting tonight, do we need a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Yes, we're done. As long as there's no dissension, we can just adjourn.
Okay, then we will adjourn. Thank you for coming. It's a cold, wet night, so we appreciate your attendance. Thank you.
Things well?
Yes.
You need to get out.
Daddy's doing basketball. She gets out at 5. I think this kills 2 buildings.
I told you the story about
Headache.
John in basketball, right? He was in the hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
We go. Thank you. Appreciate it. We do some rap.
Thank you.
and stuff like that. I was looking to buy some land down. Appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, thank you. Have a nice Thanksgiving. I was looking to buy some land. Okay.
We talked about that briefly, because they didn't have the other one there.
Okay. It's impossible. Especially practices tomorrow, so.
Okay.
So I said, wow. I haven't done it for years. He wants to start again, but
Start bringing these.
Oh, nice.
You know Randy Griffin.
Yeah, that's nice. Where'd you get that?
We're around the career center. He's an animal.
What's that?
He's an animal that comes to hunt.
Really?
He's out.